All right, let's talk about something that's absolutely fundamental, yet so easy to get wrong: Linux permissions. This might seem like a 101 level topic, but it is, without a doubt, the critical first layer of security that every single tech professional has to master. Because if you get this wrong, everything, and I mean everything, you build on top of it is at risk. So let's just jump right in with a big question. I want you to think for a second. Forget about all the complex code bugs or wild distributed system failures. What do you think is the single number one reason that production systems crash and burn or get breached? Yep, that's it. Misconfigured permissions. And this isn't some small, trivial mistake. We're talking about the root cause of some of the most catastrophic security breaches and massive system outages out there. It's basically the digital equivalent of leaving the bank vault door not just unlocked, but wide open with a welcome mat in front of it. And that's really the perfect way to picture this. When your permissions are set improperly, you've essentially left the doors to your entire production environment completely unlocked. This means anyone, or any rogue process, can just wander right in and start causing all sorts of chaos. This is just so fundamental. Getting permissions right is your absolute first line of defense for production security. It's the core of access control. It dictates who can see what, who can change what. It stops you from accidentally deleting the wrong thing. It helps you meet all those regulatory compliance rules. And maybe most importantly today, it makes safe, reliable automation even possible. Without this solid foundation, your entire system is basically built on quicksand. Okay, so let's get into the actual blueprint of how Linux handles all this. It really all boils down to three core concepts. You have users, you have groups, and then you have the rules that tell them what they can and can't do. First up, you've got the user. That's an individual account, like DevOps or your own username. Then you have groups, which are just collections of users. This is super useful for giving, say, your whole engineering team access to a project folder. And then there's root, the super user. Root can do anything. It can go anywhere, read anything, delete anything. It has absolute total control over the entire system. So how does the system actually control what all these people can do? Well, it uses three incredibly simple permissions: read, write, and execute. Read, pretty obvious, lets you view the contents of a file. Write lets you change it, and execute, well, that lets you run it like a script. And here's the key. These permissions are set separately for three different categories: the file's owner, the group it belongs to, and then literally everyone else, which we call others. Now, you could write out RWX all day long, but system admins have this powerful shorthand they use, the numeric or octal system. It's actually just simple math. The read permission is worth 4, write is 2, and execute is 1. All you have to do is add them up. And here's how it works in practice. Let's say you want to give someone full permissions. That's 4 for read, plus 2 for write, plus 1 for execute, which equals 7. What if you only want them to read and execute? Easy. 4 plus 1 equals 5. This simple addition is how we get those classic permission sets like 755. It just means the owner gets full control, that's the 7, while the group and others can only read and execute, that's the 2 5s. It's simple, powerful, and way faster to type. Okay, enough theory. We've got the concepts down. Now, let's get our hands dirty and look at the essential command line tools you'll be using every single day to manage all of this. Need to add a new person to the team? It's a simple 2-step dance. First, you run useradd to create their account. Then, you run passwd to set their password. And notice that sudo at the beginning of each command. These are big administrative actions, so you have to have elevated privileges to get them done. The main command for changing permissions is chmod. Now, you've got two main ways to use it. The symbolic method is awesome for making little tweaks, like adding execute permission just for the user. That's u plus x. But the numeric method is for when you want to set the entire permission set for everyone all at once, like making a script ready to run with chmod 755. So what do you do when a file belongs to the wrong user or service account? That's where chown, which stands for change owner, is an absolute lifesaver. With just one command, you can change both the user and the group owner of a file. This is so critical for making sure your web server, for example, actually has permission to read its own website files. Okay, we've nailed the basics. Now let's level up and talk about the concepts that really separate a good admin from a great one. How to wield power correctly, and how to manage the services that keep everything running. Here's a huge rule. You almost never log in directly as the all-powerful root user. It's just way too dangerous. Instead, you use sudo. This command lets a normal, everyday user run a specific command with root privileges. Think of it like a valet key. It lets you do one specific job without handing over the keys to the entire kingdom. And using sudo comes with some absolutely non-negotiable rules. First, always grant the absolute minimum privilege needed for a task, and nothing more. Second, avoid that direct root login like the plague. Third, use secure SSH keys instead of passwords for remote access. And finally, regularly audit who has access to what. This isn't just good advice, it's how you stay a professional. True mastery goes beyond just user commands. You also have to control the services that power your applications, your web servers, your databases, all of it. And your command center for this is systemctl. With simple, clear verbs like start, stop, and restart, you have total control over the lifeblood of your entire production environment. Okay, let's bring it all home. We've gone through the theory and we've looked at the tools. Now let's talk about what happens in the real world, in a live production environment, when these seemingly small permission settings go horribly wrong. Oh man, these are the support tickets that give you nightmares. The application won't start because it can't read its own config file. Your entire CI/CD pipeline grinds to a halt with a permission denied error. Your Docker container can't write its data because the volume permissions are messed up. See, these aren't complex bugs. They're simple, incredibly frustrating, and, most importantly, totally preventable permission errors. And in our modern world of DevOps and constant automation, this is the hard truth. Everything is run by scripts and services. That automation runs as a specific user with specific permissions. And if those permissions are wrong by even a single digit, the entire pipeline breaks. Instantly. It's that fragile. So if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this slide right here. These 4 commands, chmod, chown, sudo, and systemctl, they aren't just tools in a toolbox. They are your production survival kit. Mastering them isn't optional for anyone who works on modern infrastructure. It's a requirement. So, we've covered the blueprint, we've covered the tools, and we've definitely covered the stakes. You now have a deep understanding of how Linux security is built from the ground up. These commands are literally the keys to the system. So the only real question left is, are you ready to be its master?